Hey team, Jonathan here. Quick question before we dive in. Have you ever looked up at the end of a long day and thought, I've worked really hard today, but I'm not really sure what actually moved forward? Well, if you felt that, just know that you're not alone. Here's what we know. 68% of executives say their number one challenge is prioritizing their time, but only 20% have an actual process to plan or focus on what matters most. That gap between pressure and process is where a lot of leaders begin to lose momentum. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't care, but because the day gets loud and the urgent keeps winning. John Maxwell says that the secret to your success is found in your daily agenda. So we're going to do something about it. Today, we're launching a 14-day time and energy audit. And I want you to think of it as three things. First, I want you to think of it as a mirror. Not a mirror to judge you, but rather a mirror to give you an observation point to show you what's happening. Because you can't improve what you don't see. Now, second, I want you to think of this as a map. It's going to reveal some patterns. Well, where's your time going? What's pulling you into reactive mode? And where's the high-value work getting squeezed out of the day? And third, I want you to think of this as a reset, an opportunity for a reset that will help you rebuild your weekly rhythm in a way that protects what matters most without pretending that you live in a perfect world. Now, here's what I need you to know. This isn't about tracking your time like a robot. You're not doing this to become more busy. You're doing this to become more intentional. Because the real win isn't doing more things. The win is doing the right things and doing them consistently. All right, let me show you exactly how this is going to work. First, in the email that you've been sent, you've been given two attachments. The first is the Playbook, which has most of the information that we're going to cover on this video, but in a little bit more detail. And there's another attachment that's in that email. And the second attachment is the workbook itself that we're going to capture your time log in. Now, the first tab that I've prepared for you in this workbook is a sample day so that you can literally see it and copy some of the pattern. Then at the bottom of the workbook, what you'll see is that there's a tab for each of the days that we'll do in this audit. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, each of the days. And if you prefer to have a paper handout, there's a hard copy template here in the second tab that you can actually print and use throughout the day. So you can do this digitally or you can do this on paper, whichever fits your style. Now, here's the method. What you're going to do is you're going to think of your day in 15-minute time blocks. Now, if you do something for 90 minutes, you're going to go ahead and only use one row because it's not about calculating one row per every 15 minutes. It's actually looking at the blocks of time that we take throughout our day. Now, it's not about perfection. It's about building a picture that we can coach from. And so for each time block, you'll fill in a few simple fields. You'll fill in start time, the end time, the time in minutes that you have here in column C. This is actually going to be calculated for you, so don't delete the formula. And then a short code you'll use to actually classify the block of time for what type of work that it was. You'll put in a clear activity description, who it was with, whether or not it was planned or reactive, and we're going to track your energy level throughout the day. And that's it. Now, let me begin to make these codes a little bit easier for you. Up here in row 5, we have the list of codes that you'll be able to reference whenever you're filling something out. And there's only 8. The first is going to be DW, deep work. Meetings are going to be MTG. One-on-ones are going to be one-on-one. Admin for ADM. Execution tasks, you're going to put in as OPS. Client-facing tasks, you'll put in as CLT. Talent and candidate-facing tasks, you'll put in as TAL. And buffer, the BUF, that's going to be for breaks, transitions, drive times. That's what we're going to put in buff. So now if you're going to do strategy work, we're going to call that DW, deep work. If you're in a meeting, we're going to call that MTG. If you're on a client call, we'll call it CLT. If you're screening a candidate, we'll use TAL. If you're driving to a client meeting or a walk, a reset, or a transition, use BUF. And if you're doing email, use ADM for administrative. Next, you're going to ask yourself a question. Was the activity that I did reactive, or was it actually planned? The whole difference here is, did you choose the block, or did the block choose you? If it was on purpose, we're going to put planned. If you got pulled in, an interruption, an escalation, a surprise request, well, we're going to call that reactive. And finally, we're going to track energy throughout the day. We're going to use E+ for higher energy, E0 for neutral steady energy, or E- for lower energy. Now, this is important. Energy is not, did I like it? Energy is really about how was your energy during that block. And so we're going to track energy because patterns actually matter. Some leaders do their best thinking in the morning. Some hit a wall after lunch. Some get drained in certain types of meetings. And we can't design a better week if we don't know what's actually happening. Now, here's the key habit that's actually going to make this work. Every day, you're going to do a 7-minute daily closeout. 7 minutes. Throughout the day, you'll log your time. But at the end of the day, take 7 minutes and actually go back through the log that you completed for the day and begin to scan your log, fill in gaps, and make sure that it reflects reality. Because if you try to reconstruct 2 weeks at the end of the period, it's not going to be accurate. 7 minutes a day is what makes the data usable. Now, let me tell you what I'm looking for when you send this back. I'm not looking for you to turn back in the perfect schedule for the week. What we're going to be looking for is patterns. Where is your time going? How much of your week is in meetings? How much of your week are you spending in deep work? Where does execution maybe swallow your leadership time? And how much of your week is reactive? And what's happening with your energy across the day? Because here's the truth. If we can identify just 1 or 2 patterns and be able to adjust your rhythm accordingly, you'll begin to feel the impact immediately. You'll get focus back, you'll reduce some drag, and you'll begin to lead with more intentionality. Now, one more thing. Some of you are going to feel a little exposed doing this. You might see things that you don't love, and you're going to get insights just starting to do it even today. But that's okay, because this isn't an evaluation. This is a leadership tool. Just know that mature leaders, they're not afraid of reality. They use it to get better. So here's my ask. Commit to the 14 days. Be honest. Keep it simple. Do the daily closeout. And then send me the workbook when you're done. When you submit it, include 3 quick lines. Give to me your biggest insight, your biggest frustration, and 1 question that you want to focus on in our debrief. And then I'll do the heavy lifting. I'll be the one to go in and analyze the data that you give me, begin to create a diagnosis of what's happening, and we'll create some opportunities for you to rebuild portions of your operating rhythm together. Because the goal isn't to grind harder, the goal is to make sure your daily agenda is aligned with what matters most. All right, let's do this. And remember, small disciplines consistently practiced create big results over time. I'm looking forward to see what we learn together. Let's go do it, and let's get better together. Here we go.